Is this the moment no fan was ready to face? Or is there a truth hidden between the silence and the whispers? Before you read another line, pause for a second and ask yourself why the name Jungkook suddenly feels heavier in the air. Why timelines feel quieter, yet emotionally louder than ever. If you feel the same knot in your chest, leave a comment. Tap like if you're here to stand with him. Subscribe to stay connected, because this story is unfolding in ways no one expected. In recent days, an unusual emotional wave has swept through the global fandom, carrying confusion, concern, and a shared sense of mourning that cannot be easily explained in one sentence. Jungkook, a figure long associated with energy, resilience, and unshakable passion, has become the center of a collective pause, as if the world itself took a breath and waited. This is not a fairy tale, not a rumor pulled from thin air, and not a story borrowed from headlines elsewhere. This is a narrative shaped by observation, emotion, and the undeniable bond between an artist and millions of people who feel connected to him beyond music. What made these recent days feel different was not a single dramatic announcement, but rather the absence of something fans had grown used to. The silence felt louder than any statement. Jungkook has always communicated in more ways than words, through movement, expression, timing, and presence. When that rhythm changes, people notice. Fans across continents began asking the same quiet question at nearly the same time, wondering if something unseen had shifted behind the scenes. The sadness that followed did not arrive as panic, but as reflection. It felt like standing in a room after the music stops, realizing how much the sound had filled your life. For years, Jungkook has represented growth in motion, someone who matured in front of the world without losing sincerity. That journey made people feel included, as if they were walking alongside him. When that journey appeared to slow or momentarily dim, the emotional response was immediate and deeply human. Many fans described the feeling not as fear, but as concern layered with empathy. They spoke about sleepless nights scrolling through memories, performances replayed not just for entertainment, but for reassurance. The sadness was not about loss in the traditional sense, but about vulnerability. Seeing someone so strong also be human reminds people of their own fragility. And that shared realization can feel overwhelming. There is something unique about Jungkook's presence that turns silence into a statement. He has never needed dramatic gestures to command attention. His authenticity has always been the loudest voice in the room. So when the days felt quieter, fans filled the space with their own emotions, projecting care, hope, and worry in equal measure. This was not hysteria, but a collective emotional echo. The mourning many fans expressed was subtle yet profound. It showed up in messages of encouragement, in fan art tinted with softer tones, in words carefully chosen to avoid pressure while offering support. It was a reminder that the relationship between artist and audience is not one-directional. Jungkook has given inspiration, and now the world wanted to give something back, even if only in spirit. Emotionally, this moment forced fans to confront an uncomfortable truth about admiration. Loving an artist also means accepting that they are human, that they carry burdens unseen by the stage lights. Jungkook's journey has always been one of dedication, discipline, and constant self-improvement. That path, while inspiring, is not without cost. Recent days felt like a glimpse into the weight of that responsibility. Some fans spoke about how Jungkook's music had been their anchor during difficult times, how his voice had accompanied moments of loneliness, celebration, and healing. Facing uncertainty around him now felt like roles were reversed. The one who once comforted them might now need understanding. That realization brought a quiet sadness, mixed with a strong desire to protect rather than demand. What made this situation emotionally intense was the lack of clear answers. Human minds naturally fill gaps with feeling. Without definitive explanations, imagination and empathy intertwine. Fans were not spreading stories. They were sharing concern. The tone across conversations shifted from excitement to tenderness, from anticipation to patience. This moment also revealed how deeply Jungkook's presence is woven into daily life for many people. He is not just an entertainer on a screen, but a symbol of perseverance, youth, and self-discovery. When something appears to disrupt that symbol, even temporarily, it feels personal. That is why the sadness feels widespread, yet intimate at the same time. Despite the heaviness, there is also strength in how fans responded. Instead of panic, many chose solidarity. Instead of demands, they offered space. This reaction speaks volumes about the maturity of the bond that has grown over the years. Jungkook's influence has shaped not only musical taste, but emotional intelligence, teaching millions how to care deeply without possession. As days passed, the narrative evolved from shock to quiet resilience. People began reminding each other that rest, reflection, and privacy are not signs of weakness. They are necessities. Jungkook has always been someone who pushed boundaries, but even the strongest need moments to breathe. Recognizing that as an act of respect, not distance. The sadness, then, becomes a shared pause rather than an ending. It is a moment where fans look inward, appreciating what Jungkook has already given while trusting that his story is still unfolding. Mourning does not always mean goodbye. Sometimes it means acknowledging a chapter that feels heavier before turning the page. Emotionally, this period has strengthened the sense of community among fans. Strangers comforted each other across languages and time zones, united by the same hope. That unity is not accidental. It was cultivated through years of honesty, vulnerability, and connection that Jungkook consistently showed through his art. There is also a quiet lesson in this moment about expectations. The entertainment world often moves too fast, demanding constant output without pause. Jungkook's situation has sparked conversations about balance, reminding people that behind every performance is a human being with limits. That awareness is perhaps one of the most meaningful outcomes of these recent days. While sadness lingers, it is not without light. Hope remains present, steady, and patient. Fans are not waiting for a spectacle, but for reassurance that Jungkook is okay in his own time. That shift from consumption to compassion marks a deeper evolution in fandom culture. As this chapter continues, one thing is clear. Jungkook is not alone, and the sadness felt by millions is also proof of love. It shows how deeply he has touched lives, how his presence extends far beyond music charts or stages. Even in moments of uncertainty, that connection does not break. It transforms. If you felt this wave of emotion too, you're not alone. Share your thoughts in the comments. Let others know how Jungkook's journey has impacted you, and stay connected by liking and subscribing. Sometimes, simply being present together is the strongest message we can send.